This is Andrea Raquel, the social entrepreneur and sugar-free coach, and you are listening to Andrea in the Morning. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, happy Monday, happy Tuesday, happy Wednesday. The more global my audience becomes and the more virtual technology becomes, the more I realize you could be listening to me on any given day in real time at any given time. So you may be listening live right now and maybe it's still not morning, or maybe you're listening live and you think it should be morning, but it's not. Guess what? Don't worry about all that. This is Andrea in the Morning, and I've got some good stuff to talk about today. I told you I was going to do my little segments whenever I felt like it, and that's exactly what I'm doing. And so if it's morning for you, then take this and carry it into the rest of your day. If you're already halfway into your day or evening, sleep on it, do whatever it is you need to do, but you definitely want to meditate and think about this one here. Okay, this is called Glass Houses and Black Pots. Why? Because there are two very old sayings that I really, really love, that I grew up with, that I always heard as a child, and that have stuck with me, and that to me seem very, very common and very often used, but not so much often acted on and lived out. The first one is, people who live in glass houses should not throw stones. Simple, basic. Pretty much anyone over the age of probably 4 or 5 can piece together what exactly that means. The second one, the pot calling the kettle black. Maybe that one is not as familiar to you. That one is a little more southern, maybe. Maybe something that your mom might have said if she was from the country. I don't know. I heard it a lot. But when you're the pot calling the kettle black, basically you're basically talking about someone for doing the exact same thing that you're doing. And it's just the same thing as living in a glass house and throwing stone. Now, when you live in a glass house and you throw stones, you may not necessarily be throwing stones at the same things or at other glass houses, for example. But the point is, don't throw rocks if you don't want them to get thrown back at you and you live in a glass house. So, is any of this sinking in for anyone? There may be some of you listening who are like, okay, I already know where she's going with this. But then there may be some people listening like, what does this have to do with me? Well, I'll tell you what it has to do with you. This is living sugar-free. I'm always going to keep it real. If I'm talking about you, please do not think that I'm talking about you personally. I haven't talked to anyone on the phone today. I haven't had any direct messages with anyone today. The word that is on my heart has been written down in a notebook for several weeks, and I'm just building on it. I don't know how to convey to you people that it is not all about you, but I promise, whoever you are, I don't care how close to me, how well you think you know me, I don't care how much of a friend of mine or a relative or colleague or what, I am not talking about you. But if I'm talking about you, you just need to own it and receive it and live. Because if this is you, you are not living. If you are struggling in an area, I mean struggling. I don't mean, oh, I want to be a better person. Oh, I want to make $1 million. Oh, I want to live the life that I've always dreamed of. No, I don't mean that. I mean, you got one foot in the grave. You're always miserable. You're always broke. You're always complaining. Nobody likes you. You don't like, I'm talking about miserable people right now. If you're not miserable, I'm not talking to you, but you can still take this and apply it to your life and grow even further. But if you're miserable, I just can't take it anymore. You should not be spending more time talking about other people than you do about ways that you're going to solve how you're miserable. Let me say that again. If you are miserable, sick, broke, unhealthy, unhappy, always got issues, your mouth should not constantly be going throwing stones. You should not be always talking about how sick other people are when you have one foot in the grave. And I'm sorry, y'all can think that I'm being flip about this. People die. Guess what? A lot of very, very close people to me have died. I am not insensitive to death, and you cannot sit there and say, oh, she doesn't know what I'm going through, because I do. I've been there, done that, got the t-shirt. Okay? But if you are sick, you should not always be gossiping about other people. If you are overweight, you should not always be talking about other people. If you're not too bright, you certainly should not always be talking about other people. Okay? My point is, if you're not happy with who you are, what you have, and just everything about your life,